Hello, everyone, and welcome to the House of Lotus podcast, a platform dedicated to spiritual research and development. This podcast is meant to throw a little bit of light onto the path of each one of us, and hopefully assist each of our listeners to take their own next step. With good intentions and one eye always on our truth, please remain open to what lies ahead. From my heart to yours, and from my mind to yours, may our spirit show us the way. On this episode, we shall talk about the fourth chakra, our heart center, and the physiological, psychological, and spiritual functions of this green energy center. Our heart chakra is connected to issues of love, forgiveness and acceptance, and helps us develop our empathetic abilities and come in contact with the group consciousness that lies with the soul. Please take a deep breath, relax, and enjoy. Our bodies are filled with energy centers called the chakras. Aligned with our spine, we have the 7 main chakras, each corresponding to their own physical, emotional, mental and spiritual functions, all interconnected. These 7 main chakras distinguish our consciousness into 7 aspects or planes. The 3 lower ones we have already talked about in our previous episodes are collectively considered the centers of our lower self. This does not signify their degree of importance, but denotes the fact that they, being responsible for our physical, emotional, and mental aspects in the physical world, correspond to those aspects of ours that are more dense, more physical, dealing primarily with the lower or subconscious parts of our personality. The first one is the red root chakra at the base of the spine. It is the center responsible for our connection with the physical realm, our physical body, and all of our needs and issues of survival. Its element is earth. In this first chakra lie our sense of safety, strength, and stability. When we have worked with the energies of this root chakra to accumulate a sense of security and of what our needs are, we can more easily open up to the higher chakras. The second chakra, the orange sacral center, is located at the area of the pelvis. Its element is water. Herein lie our feelings and emotional body, our desires, sexuality, creativity, and spontaneity. Daring to feel our emotions, understanding them, and letting them flow within us opens us up to the constant change that takes place throughout the dance of creation. The third energy center is the yellow solar plexus at the area of the stomach. This is the center responsible for our mental aspects, our thoughts, and our thought processes. Its element is fire, our personal power, confidence, sense of self-worth, and boundaries, as well as the sense of identity we have developed throughout our lives. The fourth chakra, upon which we will focus today, is that of the heart. It is a great balancer, the integrator of the lower centers with the higher ones, our subconsciousness with our hyperconsciousness, our male and female energies. It is located at the center of the chest, shining emerald green light, and connects us to the astral body and plane, the energy collectively produced by the previous 3 chakras, which hopefully accumulated into a composed, integrated, conscious personality. Its element is air, or rather the vital aspects of air, like oxygen. Physically, the heart chakra corresponds to the area of our chest, and especially the heart, the cardiovascular and blood circulation systems, as well as the immune and lymphatic system through the thymus gland and the lower parts of the lungs. The physical sense connected with this chakra is touch, and the hands through which we can offer or receive love, and therefore the skin as the organ of touch also corresponds to the heart, even though, as you may remember, the skin as an organ in general corresponds to our solar plexus, our very literal physical boundaries and self-definition. The meridians connected to the heart are those of the heart and small intestine, which deal with love, kindness, acceptance and loss, as well as withholding from letting things go. The heart chakra is first and foremost connected to the soul, that part of the soul that inhabits our body and is actually seated in the physical organ of the heart. Here we come in contact with the energy of love. In its true form, love is unconditional and all-encompassing. True love is not about any emotions we may have about another person, nor is it about our tastes, whether we like someone or not. Unconditional love is impersonal. We may not like somebody and yet still love them. We may not even know somebody and still love them. Love is about unity, a sense of togetherness and compassion that enfolds and transmutes all that it comes in contact with. True love, or rather our capacity to carry it out, must reflect in how we tend to deal with ourselves as well. We cannot express true love if it doesn't include ourselves. If we're not loving, caring, and compassionate about our own needs and well-being, this will primarily depend on how unconditional we experience the love of our parents, how accepted and loved we felt. But having worked through our issues of self-worth in the previous chakra of the solar plexus, we can begin to reopen our heart, feeling safe and worthy to be loved by ourselves and by others. Caring about our own selves is an action of love. This, however, needs great practice in awareness because it may come from a selfish sentiment instead. To distinguish the two, we must turn within to really observe how we feel, from which chakra such behavior arises. And if we do find that we act based on selfishness, we can be loving and caring and understanding towards ourselves to discontinue the influence of the ego, which would want us to feel guilty and act in self-punishing ways. It is practicing mindfulness, awareness of the self, as we have talked again and again in our episodes. Turning within to discover how we tend to function in the world, with kindness, acceptance and understanding, to make space for ourselves to be honest during our introspection and facilitate healing and transmutation of our issues by taking care of what we find. Notice that we reach the heart chakra after we work with the root chakra and our needs, our sacral chakra and desires, and our solar plexus with our thoughts. We therefore get to work and develop our personality first, our sense of self and boundaries, before we come to open and work with the heart. An open heart chakra is forever giving. It is here where the individuality comes to surrender itself to the soul. the personality, shaped and integrated, can now give itself to the soul and group consciousness in the service of humanity and the world. But if we haven't worked with our own personality first to develop and integrate it with its different aspects, an open heart may leave us vulnerable to be taken advantage of and create imbalances in our relationships and life. To be able to give freely, we must first develop our boundaries, knowing our needs and respect them, having the capacity to say no when appropriate, able to protect ourselves. Otherwise, anyone may be able to just come by and grab a piece of our heart. Having not developed our capacity for self-awareness, we may find ourselves rushing into self-sacrifice, not driven by a pure desire to help and carry out the work of the soul, but discover that our actions rise from egotistic issues that lead to self-destruction, the opposite of self-love, especially when we have romanticized the concept of self-sacrifice, or our solar plexus struggles with issues of self-pity, self-destruction, or unworthiness. Only when we become aware of our tendencies, our issues, and ways of perceiving the world around us, and stand guard as they act up, do we have a chance to receive impulses from the soul and translate them correctly in our brains, clear of biases and prejudice. This might come as a surprise to many people. I know I was taken by surprise when I first learned about it. We are usually led to believe that a good person must do anything for others, and I myself had issues with setting my boundaries when certain people would ask for more and more. Whenever I tried to say no, I was met with a response that can be summed up to something like this: "How come you cannot give me more? Aren't spiritual people all about giving?" Well, the answer is yes. Spiritual people are all about giving, but that includes giving to themselves as well. When we know what we need, what hurts us, and become aware of how toxic relationships affect us, we can say no to the continuous abuse. And I'm not only talking about romantic relationships alone, but all kinds of relationships, friendships, acquaintances, patients, or teachers. Remember that if our cup is empty, we cannot fill the cups of others. And certain actions, as we mentioned before, may look the same, but come from a different place within us. We may say no because of selfish reasons, and we may say no because of self-care. And likewise, we may say yes because of selfish reasons, or we may say yes because we carry out the energy of unconditional love. It is for each one of us to remain aware of our motives, our issues, and how the energy of our chakras interrelates within us, to therefore decide where each of our actions comes from and how we wish to proceed. The heart chakra, then, is connected with unconditional love. Aspects of that love is our capacity for empathy and compassion, both of which lie with this center. When we work with the energies of this chakra, we can develop our capacity for empathy, being able to put ourselves in the other person's place. This is part of our extrasensory perception that lies in the heart and the higher chakras. We can hereby come in contact with the experience of others and feel what they go through. When this capacity is activated without us being conscious of it, either in our childhood or as adults having not developed enough our mental capacities of discernment and our boundaries in the solar plexus, we may be overtaken or overwhelmed with what we feel, or have difficulty understanding what is going on within us, because the energies of those around us blend with our own, and we can't distinguish what is our experience from that of others. We need a mindful examination, then, of ourselves and what takes place within us, in order to become aware of the energies that don't belong to us. We can then say, either in our minds or out loud, "Thank you for letting me experience what you feel," and then gather with our mind all that is not ours and let it go away, setting our boundaries and returning to the self. We then return to the breath and the observation of our body and our psychological state, to ground ourselves back in the present moment and our reality. Being able to perceive the other's experience without judgment develops our sense of compassion as well, because we come to understand the state of other people, how they understand what happens to them, and how they function in the world. With that understanding, if asked, we may be able to help them as well. But please be mindful of your motives. Our need to help others may come from a subconscious attempt to help ourselves, or as a way to have others be obligated to us or exalt us in their minds. Respect other people's boundaries when you try to help, giving as much as the other is willing or able to take, either physically or energetically. As we mentioned before, from this chakra onwards, our extrasensory perception begins to develop as well. In the heart center, we have the higher aspect of touch. This is usually called clairsentience, which means clear sensing. It may be experienced as the perception of energy through the touch or the aura around us, as well as the contact with the astral energy currents, which is understood as intuition. Note that because the astral plane, the plane corresponding to this chakra, is still a plane of experience, of subjectivity, what we perceive through intuition may very well change with each passing moment, until we reach and develop the third eye and acquire a sense of certainty. Empathy is a part of this extrasensory perception as well, because we become receptive to the energies around us in a way that allows us to experience them. These senses that go beyond the physical realm are already part of each one of us. The degree at which we perceive them and understand their imprint in our consciousness depends on our development, the development of our capacity for observation, to observe the imprints and in what ways our issues may cloud our understanding, as well as the state of our chakras. When working with our heart chakra, we may notice issues with the physical parts it is connected to, issues with being kind, carrying out self-care, or inability to receive or give love. Our ability to love ourselves and develop our heart chakra begins during our childhood, and with whether we felt loved and accepted by the people who raised us, whether we felt truly, unconditionally loved even when we were mischievous or did something wrong to make them angry. Rejection or loss may also make our heart chakra vulnerable, especially if, as children, we don't understand and conceptualize what is taking place. Coupled with issues from the other chakras, during our introspection, we may notice, for example, that we have a tendency to avoid touching, even with our most intimate relationships, or that we don't want to receive help, even when we need it, because we may feel undeserving of someone's kindness. And we may observe that we are always trying to be nice, even when it works out against our own well-being. We may also observe that we remain indifferent to the suffering of others, not in the sense of being detached, because being detached is healthy. It allows us to remain outside the issue and be able to help when necessary, but in the sense that we cannot empathize or care, or we try not to care about what is going on. Whatever we may find within us, it is okay, because accepting its existence means we can trace it to its roots and consciously work with it with kindness. Although they are never a substitute for medical advice or conscious examination of the self, there are things that can support us when dealing with the energies of this chakra. We can wear green or have green color around us, and we can hold or meditate with the crystal associated with this center, malachite or emerald. Rose quartz can also help us come in contact with soothing energies of love, but it won't hold the general energy of the heart chakra in its entirety. The loving touch or embrace of another can energize our heart and help us open up to loving energies. We can also go out in nature and come in contact with the harmony of greenery and the open air, observe the blossoming flowers, and use rose essential oil to help smooth the energies of the heart. The music note associated with this center is F. Let us now sum up. The heart is the fourth of the 7 main chakras, located at the center of the chest. It is connected to the astral plane and body, the amalgamation of our physical, emotional, and mental aspects developed through the 3 lower chakras. The root with our physical existence, the sacral chakra with our emotional nature, and the solar plexus with our mental aspects. This center is the great balancing chakra, where our individuality and our spirit connect through the soul and the all-encompassing aspect of love and service to all beings. Having worked with the different aspects of our personality, realized who we are, and worked with our boundaries, we reach the heart as individuals and make space within us for group consciousness. We develop our ability to tap into unconditional, impersonal love, and our compassion and empathy provide us with understanding. This love, compassion, and understanding enfold ourselves as well. We no longer feel unworthy or afraid to receive kindness or love, and we get better at giving it to ourselves as well as everyone else. By accessing this aspect of ours, our soul, the love that is a practical application of wisdom, we begin to recognize it in others, even when they are not able to carry it out themselves, and begin to see the true nature of the all, expressed as love, beauty, and harmony, connecting all beings throughout the universe around us. Becoming mindful of the blissful unconditional love that exists within us and all around us, and bringing it to conscious awareness, we create a conscious rapport with our soul aspect, understanding our true nature and that of the manifested absolute beingness. This rapport, our connection with our spiritual nature, can develop with every new breath. So, now, focus on the present moment, this precious moment. With your next inhalation and every new breath, bring your consciousness to your experience in the now, to what you find within you and all around you. Enfold yourselves with kindliness and acceptance, reassuring that whatever you find is okay. With your intention, bring your awareness to your green heart chakra at the center of the chest. See its emerald green light shine around in the area of your chest. Stay with that light. Within it, you may recognize a sense of love, of kindness and compassion. Focus on that sense and observe how your attention allows it to grow, to fill your consciousness and relax your body as it soothes the mind. Let that sense of calming acceptance blow over you as you say, I love and appreciate myself. Allowing yourself to receive your love, to experience your love, knowing that it is within you and always accessible. Take a deep breath and exhale with the affirmation, I love. Thank you very much for listening to the House of Lotus podcast. If you have enjoyed the episode, please consider supporting the show by following, sharing it with like-minded people, or becoming a Patreon to enjoy special rewards and extra content. You can find more about us on our website, thehouseoflotus.eu. Thank you and enjoy your present.